PM. A roll call. Adrian Kissy. Constance Graves.
Here.
Dominic Mazza, excused. Donna Bullock.
Here.
Kashana Owens Cody.
Here.
Larry Malden.
Here.
We also have Naseem Ramdani.
Here.
Naseem, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
And we also have Pretty Mather and Sam Mather. And we
Yeah.
also have Marissa Zanfardino sitting in for Jeffrey Weiss. Okay, so when we last spoke, Pretty and Sam, y'all were gonna take another look at a few maps that we had talked about. Pretty, are you prepared to share something with us on that?
Yeah, I am prepared to share, and I think from where
I mean, before you do that, I sent that email to everybody, that public submission that we got from Merton Simpson,
Yes.
who is
Yeah.
a county legislature. And I also sent it to Sam and Pretty, as well as Jeffrey Weiss to take a look at.
Yeah, that is important to address, and I think we should do that first.
Okay, so why don't we talk about that?
Okay.
Okay, I think he sends a lot of links about all kinds of projects and stuff that he's doing. But really the bone of contention here is that he is a District 2 legislator. And with Plan D that we moved forward, he's going to no longer be in his district. So he has attached a lot of documents like local aid and like gerrymandering and all kinds of things. But in reality, the biggest concern that he has is he will be out of his district. He will be in District 4.
So, technically, we are not required to keep the incumbents in their districts, but since he's a legislator and he will eventually pass the maps, so I think it's really important that we address his concern.
I'm sorry, Sam, what was that last piece that you said? He would what?
But what I said was, as per the requirement, we are not supposed to keep the incumbents in districts they are.
Right.
But since he is a legislator and he eventually will be looking at these maps and being part of approving the maps, so it's important that we address his concern before.
And his concern, he is trying to say that Sheridan Hollow is a community of interest which is being split in our Plan D, which is now the plan which is being looked at. So what I did was I did look at Plan D, and I did look at where his situation is, and Sheridan Hollow and Arbor Hill communities. I did look at them, and yes, they are split in our Plan D. So what I'm ready to do is show it to you and see how we can address his concern in our Plan D, or if we are looking at Plan C, which according to Dr. Handley's analysis was more effective. So I went back and looked at Plan C, and in Plan C, that particular area that he was concerned with remains in District 2.
So, it needs to be on the record that this happened totally, unintentional, just as a result of us doing the work that we were doing. We weren't looking at incumbents. We weren't looking at addresses. We still won't. So this, happened, unintentionally. And then, I guess we discuss what, if anything, we do about it.
Yeah.
Jeff, do you want to add anything? Did everybody see Jeff's email?
Sure.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Hi, I stepped
did.
out of my meeting. Not knowing the community of interest issue that it could be possibly remedied, I looked at the email from the legislator legally, and he missed a few points that clearly the county charter does not allow you to work with incumbency nor partisan data. Incumbents are something you do not look at. And he looked at his community being split as a violation of the Voting Rights Act, but clearly these districts are being drawn for the voters to accommodate the very goals he's talking about. So the issue is more of a political one. Can his community be put into one of the most effective maps that you'll approve and make this issue go away? I think that's probably the concern is simply he's looking out for himself. And of course, the county legislature could reject the commission's overall plan, but we're not there yet, so we'll deal with that later if it ever happens. But we're just trying to make sure that the best, tightest plan is recommended by the ACRC and the MMD.
Okay.
Any questions before I go back to my other event, which I have a break from for a few minutes?
No, we're good.
Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, let me just mention, Dr. Hanley is en route back from Louisiana. The case she was working on, the trial court, was going to create a second Black district, a win for the plaintiffs, the NAACP Defense Fund. But yesterday, the U.S. Supreme Court decided not to let that happen, and will let a plan go through for this year's election that only creates one effective Black congressional district, which is a shame that the Supreme Court acted the day before a federal judge is going to order a better plan into effect. But she'll be with us Saturday morning.
Wow.
But once she has the data from Arkbridge.
Yeah, I know some people have been very involved in the Louisiana situation. Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy that was allowed to
Yeah.
stand. But that's where we are. That's where we've been. So so Pretty, you can show us the Plan D, but I would say in light of the last discussion that we had, based on information that Dr. Hanley provided in the last discussion that we had, Plan D, is likely to be a non-issue.
Okay, so let's do one thing here. Okay, the neighborhood that we are talking about. Okay. So it's between Orange Street and Sheridan Street. And I believe it's in one of Orange and Sheridan. So this is where, this is the Harry Johnson Boulevard. And here he's, I believe he lives somewhere around here. And what we found was that Sheridan Hollow is over here, and that seems to be more like West Hill. And he does mention West Hill neighborhood, and he does mention Sheridan Hollow and Arbor Hill concerned citizens. So what we have to say here is that, yeah, the old boundary for District 2 was here. And when we started to create more districts and this is the 6th district plan. So this part became a part of District 4. So that is Plan D. And if we do a movement, it would be a lot. And Sheridan Hollow is just here. So let me show you where Sheridan Hollow is. Let me get the neighborhoods together. Okay, so if we look at Sheridan Hollow, this is how it is. And yes, it is being split in 2 and 4. And a part of it goes into District 6. So that is where, but where he lives, it's over here. So it's more like West Hill than Sheridan Hollow. And in his document, he talks about that. And then what I did was I went back and I looked at our Plan C, which goes into Manans. And in that plan, this area is already a part of District 2. So that is the situation. So yes, whatever he's saying, I looked at it and it definitely was in the second district, current second district, and currently it's in 4. So he is saying that he would have to fight against the District 4 if he is in District 4. So he will have to run against the incumbent for District 4. But as you all know, that legally we are really not supposed to look at where the incumbents live.
Correct.
Correct.
So why don't we look at those other maps
Sure,
that we were gonna take another look at?
sure. I'm going to look at Plan C, which is, I'm just going to open it and then share it with you. Okay, Plan C. Okay, so when we look at Plan C, And this is the one that goes into Manans, and this is the one that Dr. Hanley said is. So this is Harry Johnson Boulevard, this is Orange Street, and this is Sheridan Avenue. So if we were to go with this plan, then there would be no issue with the legislator because he lives between Sheridan Avenue and Orange Street. And we are following the current district boundary, so he would not have any issue at all. His house is somewhere here, and there is some church and some other things.
So with Plan C, I guess the most significant thing there is that it goes into Manans.
Yeah, it goes into Manans, but then also we have to, yeah, it goes into Manans. We can also look at the other plans, Plan B, which is also a 7-district plan, and see how it handles this.
I do have a question on Plan C, because the lines, like our current lines, and I guess what happens to all that population now if we say we do go with Plan C. There's like a lot of space now that's left open that's the current district right now. Would that go into our, like, over to ACRC? Like, how many, I guess, minorities are we missing now? See how that space that's left? That was the question I left with on Saturday, but I figured I'd save it for this meeting. But
Are you talking about this area?
I guess all of it. I mean, there's a lot of space now, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like,
Yeah, see, there are minorities. The only issue is that they are not concentrated enough for us to include them to add them into the MMDs. But let me show you. Let's see, it's not like there are no minorities, but they're not helping us creating a majority or plurality minority district. So if you were to see this, there are like 22 non-Hispanic Black people in this block. See, out of about 1,000 people that we have here, we have 201 in here, and we could include them in any of our districts, but then we have to make sure that we do not have more people than the ideal population, which is 8105, and we have to make sure that they are not less. And if you look at it right now, in our Plan C in District 1, we are only 5 people over, 11, 88, 69. So we are trying to keep our deviations within the required range. And yeah, they will be a part of the other district, which ACRC would take care of. So there won't be any gaps, as you can see when you look at the whole map.
Well, I mean, those people would lose representation.
that's my concern. Because right now they do have
They will go
representation.
into another district, but they won't go into another district where they can potentially have a voice.
Yes, yep.
Right.
Yep.
The question is that we can include them, that's not a problem. So here, if you look at that, somehow we can manage to include these people, which is about 201 non-Hispanic Black people out of a total of 994. So if we do that, we can put them in District 2, or we can bring them in District 6 because of contiguity. We can do that, but then we would, let's see, let's do it. Let's put them maybe in district, which district has I don't want to do anything yet, so let's look at District 2 is 67 people short. We can put them in District 2. And District 6 already has 75 more, so we don't want to do that. So if we were to, but that's not 201 people. I'm getting 994 people, which is going to throw my deviation out of whack. But just for demo purposes, I can show that to you, but it won't really work.
Because you're getting 600 and something white, non-Hispanic white.
Yeah,
Yeah, and Marie, what we also are getting is 994 additional
9
people.
Hispanics.
Yeah. So if I add them, then you can see what is going to happen. So I just wanted to do like a what if situation for you. So let's say I added them to District 2, and now District 2 is 927 more, and my deviation is 11.44%, when I'm supposed to have only anything under 2.5%.
Can you split them between 2 and 6?
Yeah, let's try doing that. We can do that. But see,
6 already has more.
6 has 75.
It already has more. Okay.
So if it was just these two, that is still 417. So if we were to include them in District 6, if we do that, then our District 6 has a deviation of 6.07% when we're supposed to have only 2.5%.
Okay. So
So
the
we,
other thing, that little pink strip that borders District 5.
Yeah.
So what is 5 looking like?
Okay. Let's
Because I'm thinking if you could take part of that strip and move them to 5, that would open up more in 6, and maybe we could put them in that little, just extend 2 over.
Sure. So here it's 341 people in these 2 blocks. Okay.
Okay.
If we try to move them, then if you look at District 5, it's only 38 short, and the deviation is really good. But if we do that, we'll be, I'll just do some what if situations so you can see.
Okay.
So I'm putting them in District 6, and in District 6, District 5. So the deviation goes over 1.25% over the 2.5.
Video stop.
Okay.
so you were gonna relook at the Gwen Pope map in the last 2 large submissions and show us we were gonna look at the numbers for those maps.
Yeah, we have the numbers for those maps, Marie, but we are still working on getting okay, Jeff has written something. Okay, in the chat. So we already know that that is a concern with our Plan D, but Plan C seems to take care of it. Okay, let's show you the numbers for the other maps. So let me stop sharing, or do you still want to go and see the other Plan B, which also has 7 districts?
Yeah, let's look at Plan B.
And primary reason why we are going to pull a Plan B is to see if we have the issue that you got an email about. Okay, so let me stop sharing and pull that up. Okay, so if we look at this and let me add the streets, which I don't have here. Okay, it seems like here we may have a problem, but I'm still trying to get my image on this. Sorry about showing you all the fun stuff behind the scenes, but so here we are in this area, I would imagine, between Orange and Sheridan. So this would be a problem for him here too, because this area has now been assigned to District 4. Between Orange and Sheridan and
I mean, I think we should look at the other maps that we were gonna look at tonight. We know we have the comments from Merton and we need to consider them,
mhm.
but at the same time, you know, it was an unintentional thing that happened and, we're not supposed to consider incumbents and we're not supposed to consider residencies and all of that stuff. And so, yeah, we still need to look at maps and we still need to have that discussion with Dr. Hanley on Saturday before we definitively decide. But that's a consideration, into that decision. I don't think we should be necessarily going back, looking at all the maps
Sure.
to find a fit.
Yes, yes. And
I mean,
what
I don't know that it's appropriate for us to be doing that.
It's not.
it is not, according to the local aid and everything, it is not.
So I mean, as a result of where we end up on Saturday, that issue may go away, may become a non-issue, but I don't think that we should be reviewing it from the perspective of fixing something because of those comments.
We should not, but at the same time, we as a committee can take a look at it and just be aware of the comment, and there would be public testimony tomorrow. And he's talking about local aid, he's talking about redistricting requirements and all kinds of things. So I think it's just important for us to be aware of that issue. And since he's a legislator, I think we just have to, regardless, any public comment, we have to take a look at.
Yeah, I think we should fully consider any public comment, but I don't think that our work tonight should be like primarily focused on finding a fix based on comments that he made.
Yes, and now I can show you Lars' map that he submitted on 6/14. And I did some analysis and I compared. Jeff is probably saying something.
Yeah, I wanted to add that you really need to limit the conversation about incumbents because Legislator Simpson, sent a letter. We're acknowledging it, but in no way should a district be changed to accommodate his concern at this point. Hopefully the best plan will be a plan that does accommodate the legislators, but we're not there yet. The county legislature, could ask for revisions because of incumbency, but that's something that they have to deal with at their end first, not the commission's.
Yes. Let me show you. We have 3 other maps that we are working on to get the election results for that, Marie, you had requested last time. And those are Lars, which he submitted on May 30th. Then he submitted 2 maps on May 30th, and then a map that he submitted on 6/14. So I'm going to open up the map that he submitted on 6/14, and I have prepared some statistics that we could compare and see the differences, and we can look at that and see how we can. So I'm going to open up the plan. And this is the plan that he submitted on 6/14. And we are looking at this as well. And we are preparing the election results for this so that Dr. Handley can do the effectiveness analysis. So here we have District 1. So slightly different from the current, quite different from our current districts. Then he has District 2 and District 3, 6, 4, and 7. So in this, what he has is 7 MMDs. And what I did was I did some analysis, and I'm going to share the numbers with you. Okay. So
All right. I'm
we-
sorry, this is the map from June 15th,
from June 14th.
June 14th. Thank you.
Yeah. So he has 7 MMDs here. And I compared this to, and because this goes into Manans and Colony, I compared the numbers with our numbers to see how much off we were or how we can improve our map. So now I'm going to also share the numbers with you.
Are you talking about plans? What map are you talking about?
This is because last time you had said you wanted to look at what Lars had submitted on June 14th.
Yes, you said you compared it with our numbers.
Yeah, Plan C.
Okay.
Yeah, because Plan C has 7 districts and it goes into Manans, right? So I compared that and I'm going to show you the numbers. So I'm going to stop sharing this and share the numbers. Okay. So this is our Plan C. And if you look at the numbers that we have for voting and for total population, these are ours, and this is what Lars had submitted. So we compared the numbers and we saw that in District 1, he was able to get a little bit more. And then that actually was like 164 more people. So in non-Hispanic Black people. And here, so the biggest difference that we saw was in the voting age population, where District 1, 5, and 7 are plurality non-Hispanic Black districts, and then we compared the percentages. The percentages are pretty low, and 3.84, 3.8, very low, but you can see how the numbers are close. And then I was also looking at areas to see what is good about them. And here we already know that in District 3, he's also getting a part of Colony, which we are not. So the differences are a few percentages, you know, under 3-4%. And see, our District 2 has 49% and his has 45. So it's the same population, and you know, with a few blocks here and there. District 3 is 43.24, 43.41. District 7 is, we are right now examining it and seeing if we can draw something which is maybe as good or better, or if we could, or if large districts are it turns out to be effective, we could use that as well. So and then this is our 6, where we have 6 district, the current MMD plan that we have. So everything looks pretty strong here for voting age population, where we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7. And then we also looked at his submissions on 5/30. So we are seeing that these are his numbers also dip down for District 5, District 1. They're very close to what we have. And District 7 is kind of close compared to, yeah. So we looked at all the numbers And we've provided most of these numbers to you. And now what we have on our plate is to just get the election results for 531, 532, and for 614.
Oh, so that's the data that y'all were putting together for Dr. Hanley?
For these, no, we already sent. Here we are trying to put together the data for the Attorney General elections and the Lieutenant Governor elections. So that those columns are not
But
here.
isn't that for Dr. Hanley's effectiveness analysis?
Yes, that is something that we are still working on.
Dr. Hanley will be able to look at it only on Friday, so I think
Right.
we should have that pretty soon. I think by maybe
By tomorrow afternoon, yeah. So that is what we have. Yeah, and we will have the data all hopefully by tomorrow afternoon ready for Dr. Hanley. And then we can see out of all the plans. So far, Marie, there have been 14 plans from the public that we analyzed. And the reason why we looked at Gwen Pope's map, we looked at, I think, how many were there from Lars? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 maps were from Lars that we have looked at. And a lot of them were 5 MMDs, and there were 7 MMDs. And some of them were very similar to our plans. So we decided to focus on our plans because they were similar. And he had also stated that this plan of his is similar to our plan C, etc., etc. So that is the reason why we are looking at ours A, B, C, D. And we are also looking at Lars 531, 532, and 614.
So do you also have that data for the Gwen Pope map?
For the Gwen Pope map, we have the data, but it is similar to what we have. In fact, that is the one that goes into Manans, and we did look at that. But if you would like us to prepare the data for Dr. Hanley's analysis, we could do that.
so.
Okay, yeah, we were gonna look at Gwen Pope and the 530 map from Lars. I think I missed the fact that there was a 614 one.
So would you rather, since his 531 was the one that he did before the 2 map, so would you rather that we do 532, 614, and a Gwen Pope map?
Yes,
Okay, let's do that then.
is everybody in agreement with that?
Yes.
So we are going to analyze what Lars submitted on 530, his second map. Then we are going to analyze, prepare data for Dr. Hanley, Lars 614, and Gwen Pope's map, which was submitted earlier on.
Okay, so we're supposed to meet on Saturday, but Arkbridge has a conflict. It is the holiday weekend too. So what do you want to do? I mean, we can still meet. I mean, I can still be on the meeting.
Yeah, I'll be out of town, but I can be on the meeting.
So what would we discuss?
Where we are,
Okay, well, but we would have
yeah, where we are and where we're going,
In the public
Dr.
hearing.
the report.
Dr. Hanley will be there on Saturday,
Mhm.
correct?
Yes,
But this is Jeff. I think it would be advantageous for Dr. Hanley to have Sam and Brittany on the same call. So we might want
we
to
can't,
consider.
you're breaking up, Jeff. Can you say it again?
Okay. Yeah, it would be advantageous to have Dr. Hanley meet on a call with ArcBridge. So we might want to postpone, her presentation to the next meeting.
Okay, and,
I thought she said she could be there.
well, she said she
She
could
said-
be here Saturday.
Right, she could be there Saturday. We didn't discuss alternative dates, next week. We have the holiday through Monday.
And what's the issue with her doing the meeting without ArcBridge there? If
Well,
ArcBridge-
well, she
if-
could do it, but it just might be that, it would be that they couldn't answer any questions, but, for all intents and purposes, we could still plan on going ahead Saturday. And if there's anything left up in the air unanswered, we could deal with it accordingly afterwards.
All right, so I suggest that we go ahead with the Saturday meeting.
Marie, what we can do is we can try to make ourselves available for the first, maybe if you bring Dr. Hanley first, then we could be there for like 20 minutes or so, 30 minutes.
That should work. That should work.
Yeah, that will work.
That'll work. Okay.
Okay. So on Saturday, we'll have that additional information from Dr. Hanley. And then we as a group have a decision to make. So does anybody have any questions? Anything else y'all want to discuss tonight with either ArcBridge or Jeffrey Weiss or with the group?
I am still thinking about map C. Is there any way in terms of data, can you share with us like how many people in the districts that would be left? And I only keep going back to map C just because it's been said that's like one of our strongest ones, is how many minorities would not have representation if we were to go with that map?
Like how many people would lose representation?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the current configuration of the districts as compared to that map. How many people would lose representation?
I mean, definitely I can, let me look into it and see how we can do that.
What you can show is the population demographics in the district which are not, we have.
Yeah, we can.
And you can look from there and see how many minorities are in those.
Well, I mean, you already show the dotted line that shows what it was and what it is, right? What changed?
Actually, what we do is, Marie, we are looking at the MMD districts the way they are. And not to say that the minorities are just living in the MMDs, they're living elsewhere in other districts as well. And we could tell you as to how many are not in the MMDs. Let me think about it. I think it's an interesting question, and let me see how I can bring that information. Obviously, I have it, but
Well, yeah, that would be interesting information, but I think what Kashana raised is, given the configuration of the districts in map C, like how many minorities would no longer be represented and would end up in one of the other districts
So
that
we can-
the ACRC is
yeah, I mean, we can look at the
vision on.
districts which are adjacent to the MMDs in Plan C and see how many minorities are there in those districts. Because otherwise, the population has moved to several other districts. You want to see the entire county or just probably the district adjacent to the MMDs?
Well, I think we're talking about two different things.
Mhm.
The information on the entire county we should have. So if y'all could give us that, that would be wonderful. So that's one thing. But the other piece of it is the districts that we're drawing and where we're making changes to the districts. How many minorities are no longer included in those districts that were included before? Well, that wouldn't be included in those districts that are currently included in those districts. Is really what it is.
okay, that is more reasonable than doing the whole county thing, especially for MMD 7, because especially for our Plan C, because we don't know how ACRC is going to draw with this new plan. So yeah, we can definitely do like who were already in a district and now they are out. Yeah,
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. I
That's,
can-
yeah, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, yeah.
Just because
that I-
visually it looks like a lot. I mean, but I know that when we've looked at maps before, sometimes it's a warehouse area or it's, there's other things, but visually it looks like a lot of people that would have been in those district lines before are gonna have no representation. So that would be helpful.
Yeah, and I do want to say that my goal is to definitely keep all those who were already being represented and not kind of leave them out. So
Okay.
that is what my goal is, and I'm going to double check to see if I've included them all in one district or the other, MMD.
Okay.
Mhm. But if they were not in an MMD district before, then, the situation doesn't change.
Right.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay.
We have another email. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I so move.
All right.
I second.
It has been properly moved and second that the meeting be adjourned. It is 6:56. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I
Aye.
So we are having a meeting on Saturday, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The meeting is adjourned.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.